See a few of you in. Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me. It's Sunday evening again, a very snowy Sunday here. We've had some snowfall today and yesterday, and I think there's more expected tomorrow. So I have not been able to get warm all day long. I have been cold all day. Hello, Sherry. And hi, Jody. Oh, I'm glad I can be heard. That is good news. This is one of the times when I do sometimes get my fingerless gloves out to stitch with, but luckily my hands are nice and warm at the moment. Hi, Sandy. How are you? Sherry, we have a lot of wind today and rain later tonight. Ooh. Yeah, it's been really bitterly cold here the last few days, and you know the snow started coming yesterday and today. It's not pleasant. Hi, Katinka and Esther and Karen. Hello, and Anna Karen. Lovely to see you all. Hope you're all keeping well, safe and warm wherever you are. As I said, we've definitely been feeling the cold. I even took crockery out of my cupboard earlier on, and the crockery itself, I had to, try and warm the plates up before I served tea because they were so cold. Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks, Sandy. Are you recovered from your flu? Come on. I seem to have lost. There we go. Focus again. I would if I could, Katinka, but I don't have an open fireplace. We have a central heating, and I have actually brought in an extra little radiator to keep me warm, and I've got my hoodie on, and I've got a shawl on my lap and everything, just in a bid to keep warm. My feet, though, have been very, very cold, and I think if your feet are warm, then you can kind of manage. But my feet have just been really, really cold the last couple of days. Hi, Heather. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're better, Sandy. It's good news. Nothing worse than the flu. So as you can see, I've got She Sleeps out today. I think this is the first time this has been out on a live. So, the focus keeps going. Let me just try and adjust a little bit as well. Hi, Missy. Lovely. It's very cold, snow-covered Denmark. Yeah, well, I'd prefer it to be in Denmark rather than at my house at the moment. And you're stitching on a makeup clutch. That sounds nice. Let me just lift the camera up a wee bit because I'm just wondering if it's too close and perhaps just doesn't like it if it's a bit close. Let's see if that goes any better. We've had a busy weekend. We've been sorting out Lauren's room because her bedroom is very cold. Even with the radiator in there, she's still quite cold. But because she's a teenager and teenagers gather, we've had to kind of go in there and have a big clean up and sort out and tidy up. And she's now got a little heater of her own in there as well. So it's a bit more pleasant for her. And it's been a weekend really for getting stuff sorted, because Andy's had a little go in the bathroom and done a bit of tidying up in there. So yeah, it's... Oh, I hear the cat. So I didn't have my usual lunch guest today because it's not safe for him to drive out in the snow. So Hannah has gone across there to help him with his dog, because she doesn't want him walking out in the snow at 80 years old, which I absolutely understand. So even though it's not the wisest thing for her to travel when there's a weather warning, she still insisted on doing it. But there you go. Sometimes you can say it until you're blue in the face, but there we are. Hello, Rose. How are you? Hope you're well. I am still not ready for Christmas. Anybody else? I've got... Oh, Andy's busy washing up in there, so you might hear some rattles. I've still got quite a bit of my shopping left to do. I was going to do it this weekend, but snow, busy in Lauren's room, didn't happen. So still got a bit of Christmas shopping to do. I've got my Christmas meal with work this week. That's happening on Thursday. So I'll be doing a slightly shorter day. We'll go and have our meal. And then I'll come home and I'll go and get weighed. Lost another 2 pounds this week and slimmer of the month. Again, 3rd month in a row. So quite pleased with that. Feeling those benefits for sure. Just keep on going onwards and downwards, weight-wise, that is. Hi, Sharon, you're not late at all. Join whenever it is that you're able to. I'm not going to dock you any friend points for not turning up at exactly on the dot at 8 o'clock. Don't worry, it's fine. I love the fact that you all join me. Even if you can't stay for the whole time, the fact that you've joined and at least said hi is absolutely fantastic. So, you know, please don't feel that, you know, I'm going to be upset because you're late. It doesn't work like that for me. Jodie hasn't done any shopping. Yeah, I've done a bit, but nowhere near enough. I have so much to do. Mrs. Miggins, hello. How are you? Are you feeling in a little better spirit this week? I know you're a little bit shall we say a little lower mood last week, and I hope we lifted you, and I hope you're doing better this week. Andy's busy washing up at the moment. Lauren is in the bath. Hannah's at Grandad's. The cat's sat behind me on the windowsill. Missy, you still have all your Christmas shopping to do, blimey. I mean, I thought I was bad, only doing a bit. I don't think I'd want to leave it to this point and not have any done. Same with you, Jodie. I don't think I'd want to leave it to this point and not do any. Family was watching Elf. Have you got a naughty elf creating havoc in your house? The elf, the what is it? The elf. What do they call it when they do the elf thing and you got the little toy elf and you have to get him making mischief? I never did that with my children. but I see it quite a lot on Facebook. Hi, Tina. Been to your local Christmas fair. Oh, lovely. Closing up with a hot cuppa. Don't blame me. I've got one too. It has, you know, that's it, Elf on the Shelf. Thank you, Jodie. I couldn't remember just how they worded it, but no, I've never done that. I think I had 3 young mischief makers in the house. I really didn't need to be having a 4th one and me have to think of the mischief it made. That wasn't happening. It wasn't about when my son was little, however, he would have loved it. Yeah, I know some children do, but I just don't have the patience for it. I've ordered the patience for this, for stitching, but trying to think of an elf to do something for 20 odd nights, nah. No. Hannah tried to get me to do it one year, and I'm like, no, definitely not. So there we are. Well, here's the thing. We were cleaning out Lauren's room this weekend, and he's just reminded me because I can hear him asking to get into the bathroom. See if you can guess how many towels we dug out of Lauren's bedroom this weekend. I dug some out and Andy dug some out, and combined, there was no wonder we couldn't find a towel in the house. I mean, it's great that Lauren is a cleanaholic and likes the bath and all the rest of it, but it's not so good when you're having to get dry on a small towel because you can't find any big ones because she's nicked them all. So yeah, see if you can have a guess. Missy, you said 10. Yeah, just have a little guess, because honestly, you'll not believe the answer. Using your fingers, how many towels did you dig out of Lauren's room? You personally. Right, okay, thank you. Just had to remind myself how many Andy had done. He's just come down. Jodie 12, Sherry 12, Sharon 8, Jodie 20. I don't have that many, Jodie. Sandy 15. Well, Andy dug out 2. And I dug out a further 8. So, Missy, you get the winner on that one. Between us, we brought out 10 towels. And sorting out the room was such an activity. I was kind of laid on the bed and sort of digging out from behind and underneath, bringing stuff out, particularly towels and odd bits of clothes that she'd put down there, and drink bottles and, you know, all the usual stuff that you find in a teenager's bedroom. My Fitbit actually recorded me doing I think about 10 minutes of swimming, didn't it? I thought I was swimming. But yeah, 10 towels. And there was no wonder that, you know, for a while we've not been able to find enough towels. I've got like half a dozen bath sheets, you know, and I bought some fairly large towels, but not quite big enough for bath sheets, but good for hair, from IKEA. And I bought half a dozen of those before we went on holiday. And we've just been left with so few towels, but Andy, bless him, the washing machine has been going crackers all weekend. So teenagers, who'd have them? They say girls are tidier than boys, but not Lauren. Hannah, on the other hand, is super tidy in her room. You know, it's like a new pin. Lauren's is completely different. Anyhow, right, so other bits going on. Haven't had a chance to film my unboxing of my next gecko kit. I was just too busy this last week. We've had overtime at work, so of course I've taken advantage of that, and a £700 car bill that's going to be paid this week. I kind of need those funds. So yeah, overtime, I've been a bit busy, so I've not had a chance to do it, but I'm hoping to get it done in the next few days. Also, I have had another kit bought for me by my lovely husband. The catch is that I won't get it until Christmas Day. So he was on Gecko Rouge website and doing the whatnot, and he's ordered me a kit. I have no idea what it is. I haven't looked at the emails or anything like that, because I'm quite good at things like that. I don't, you know, I will happily wait for the surprise. Petra, hello. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I'm really glad about that, Mrs. Miggins. I'm glad things are better for you. But, you know, my inbox is always open. Always reach out if you need. I'm always there as an ear. So, yeah. So another Gecko Rouge kit. So 2025's year of the gecko is looking rather good. I also will, at some point over Christmas, I'll do an end of year whip parade and kit parade of these new kits that I've got. So, Petra, I am knitting. Oh, lovely. Yes, mister, I'm very lucky. And, you know, Andy's picked this one and he's picked the design himself. It was one of those, he was scrolling down the website and it just shouted out to him. You're knitting some Christmas gifts, Petra. That sounds nice. I've got to do some knitting at some point. Lauren wants me to, she's very much into Doctor Who, and she wants me to make her a knitted adipose. So I've got to do some knitting at some point. Minute, 150. Andy is here. He's just quiet at the moment, so he's been busy. Hello, Clara. Stitching on Frida by Heather Gala, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I haven't really had a look at their site. I must go and, I mean, I've seen a few of their designs, but I've not really mooched through the site. I must go and have a look. And he's not looking fearful at all. My children were young before the naughty elf arrived. Yeah. I don't like doing the naughty elf thing. Jodie says hello, Andy.
Hi.
Oh dear. So went into the office this week just for 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't go in on Wednesday. There was going to be nobody else in, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to go in there and be like a Billy No Mates and sit on my own, so I'll work from home, which I did. Went in on Thursday and found out that one of my teammates had in fact been in on Wednesday, so I wouldn't have been on my own. But there you go. But I'm quite looking forward to this week because, I mean, weather permitting, I'll be going into office as usual, but then, like I said, we're going to have a Christmas meal, which will be nice. So, yes, Petra, new kit and no new starts. I want to get some miles under these kits that I've, or these projects I've already got underway. Save my Gecko kits up for 2025. And then go have a start fest in 2025 for them. Tina, we have a naughty elf in the office, but what he gets up to depends on who is late and early. Yeah, that's a good idea. Grown-up type. We did a charitable event at work a few weeks ago for Christmas, which was putting LED rope light onto metal frames to make snowflakes, and they go up on buildings around Sheffield, and our sponsored one has been put up and lit, and you know, we raised some money for our local children's hospital charity, so that was quite nice. I'm showing my new kit. No, Sherry, I haven't, because I've been so busy this week I didn't have a chance to film, but I am hopefully, you know, all being well, I'm going to get an opportunity to do it this week. I'm going to try and do it tomorrow. It's touch and go whether I'm working tomorrow because I'm not 100% today. I've been in a bit of pain all day, and I've not had the best of days. So it's touch and go whether or not I'll actually work tomorrow. As it stands right now, I'm feeling no, because you know, there's no point in sort of going in if I'm not going to be at my best. But then, you know, the other part of me doesn't like to let people down. So I would go in even if I'm not at my best. So it's a bit of a battle. But yes, all being well, the winning kits will be out this week on the channel. And I'm hoping that you guys are going to love it just as much as I do. Are you all right, dear? He's very quiet tonight. I'll be fine, Clara. It's let's say something that we all as ladies have on a regular basis, thanks to Mother Nature. But you know, this it just seemed to be particularly hard, and I'm just having a little struggle with it at the minute. But I'm sure I'll be fine. You know, sitting is quite painful, believe it or not. I mean, I was supposed to do 6 hours of overtime today, but I only did 4 because I couldn't sit at my desk physically any longer. So, you're in love with the new Joe Grundy. I'm not sure if I've seen that one. I have to go take a look. I keep hoping to win the Gold Club monthly draw, but I never do. Because there's so many of their kits I want. If ever I win the lottery, I'm instantly retiring. I'm taking up full-time stitching and won't be tired of anybody who tries to stop me. And there would be a big order going. Okay, what are we doing on here? Clara remembers those days. Yeah, not pleasant, are they? And Missy, glad you're finished with that. Yeah. I will be glad when I am too. You know, today I have felt cold, you know, from my neck down. Even though I've had like a t-shirt, a jumper, an hoodie, you know, thick leggings and all the rest of it. My feet particularly been really cold. But then I feel like I've got a temperature because my face is hot. So very odd. I know, me too. I was recently in the top 10. Yeah. I don't even think I've made top 10, Clara. Lucky ducks that win that, honestly, aren't they? Mrs. Miggins, bless you. That's something to look forward to on Christmas morning. Yes, I'm very lucky because Andy knows just what I like. I don't think he's ever got me a duff present yet. I mean, we used to do a lot of travelling, you know, pre-COVID and stuff, but we don't so much now. But then again, Andy's doing lots of travelling around the UK, but, you know, we used to do a lot of European travelling. You know, weekends here and a few days there and so on. But, you know, Rose, how much snow did you receive? How much snow do you reckon we got, Andy? A couple of inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a couple of inches. To be fair, the roads have cleared fairly well, but I live on the top of a hill and it's quite open. So when the temperature goes down, it goes down quick and very cold. And, you know, where I live, it's a bit of a wind tunnel as well. So snow that then turns to slush very quickly will turn to ice. But I have to say that this year, for a change, the local authority are doing a very good job of keeping the roads open and the gritters out, which is good. Have I ever been to Prague? No, not yet. It's on my list. My sister went a few years ago. I think she had a really good time there. She went with a friend. But no, I've not been to Prague. If I do, Petra, I'm coming to look you up. I'm going to go have a coffee and talk stitching. Speaking of talking stitching, I had a comment that I was asked to address on my live, and it is perhaps one that you guys can all help with too. So Kelly, one of my ladies, said she has a question concerning Heaven and Earth designs. She's doing the Heaven and Earth by Sandra Cook called Angel and Kitten. And she's quite disappointed by the colouring in the face and arm. They are a strange tangerine and brown colour, not natural skin tone at all. I contacted Heaven and Earth Designs and was told the colouring is called sepia tones. It's my first Heaven and Earth design with a person in it, so I was wondering if it was typical. So I'm going to go and look at the design actually. Now, I had something similar to this with Avarice. When I made Avarice, there were some tones on her face that didn't make sense. There were burgundy, ruby, lots of browns, and so on and so forth. And it didn't make sense, but it does make sense now, because as I've done it, you know, it does look like it should. Let me just load it up on my tablet because I've got it on my laptop. Right. Sandra Cook Angel. And it's called Angel and Kittens.
Oh my God.
Oh, Angel and Kitten, should I say. There we go.
Angel's bad enough. We don't want kittens.
Let me just find it. Okay, right. Let me just move my light out of the way a bit. So this is the design. So the comment. Where's that gone? Oh. My computer sometimes has a mind of its own. 2 seconds. Right. I'm disappointed in the colouring of a face and arm. They're a strange tangerine stroke brown colour, not natural skin tones at all. Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, like I said, to be fair, when I did Avarice, her face, that's it, come on, that's it. Her face, the colours didn't seem to match the pattern at all. It didn't make sense that I'm stitching in dark red down the side of a nose. And still, when I look at Avarice close up, I kind of think it doesn't make sense. But then when I added the extra stitches around it and then took a step back, it's made perfect sense. So I'm thinking that potentially that's what's going to happen. I'm just having a look, see if I can reach Avarice. Just bear with me. I don't know if I can. Oh. No, I can't put my hands on avarice. So I think that what she needs to do is, and I'm sure you guys will let me know if you agree, carry on stitching it, stitch a little bit more around it, and then take a step back from it. Which colour am I doing here? I think it'll then make sense. What do you guys think? Right, so Tina, yeah, I've often found surrounded by other stitches and viewed from a distance, they often look good, but will look strange close up. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say, not quite as eloquently. Elisa on e-stitching in Colorado was stitching a gorgeous lady with the hat on, and skin had oranges and browns, and it looked like it didn't belong, but she kept on stitching. I take it turned out well, Jodie. Oh yes, Elisa's turned out gorgeous, so keep stitching. Kelly. Is it possible that, like a painting, it might not look nice close up, but it's meant to be viewed from a distance? Yes, very possible. So yeah, I would keep stitching. Certainly stitch around the area and fill it in completely, and then put it somewhere and take a step back, because to be fair, once we finish these pieces and we put them on our wall, none of us are ever looking at them really close up. We're always a step back, aren't we, and having a look. So the only time that I would step close is that, oh, is that full stitch or is it half stitch? Nobody's looking at the colour balance when it's close up. It might, we've done a few chart conversions as well, where people have come back and said, I'm not quite sure about the colours on this skin. And we've said, look, the programmer's read that to get the best colour balance for the overall piece. So yeah, take a look at it, from a back point, step back sort of point of view. But yeah, I'm with you. Sometimes it does look out of whack, and it does look a bit daft. I'm kind of waiting to do Envy's face. Let me just pull up the pattern for Envy. I mean, I'm sort of getting towards her face area now. But I would imagine that on Envy's face, I'm going to have some greys and things to sort of contend with, because when you look right close in, you can see that patch there has even got some purple in it. So, zooming in as close in as I can, Envy's face, there's some brown here, some brown under a chin, there's some brown in her ear. But when I look at it from a distance, it looks lovely, doesn't it? So, yeah. So it looks like, Kelly, lots of us are on the same page with that. So Karen Needlebook had that happen. When the whole area is stitched and you stand back, it's fine. The colours do blend together. So, yeah. But it's a really good point to bring up, because, for some people, they'd see, kind of the whacked out colour and think, yeah, I'm not carrying on with that. I'm not going to waste my time because it looks awful. But you have to see the full picture before making the decision. And I certainly wouldn't be junking a project that you've spent a lot of time on until, you are absolutely sure that, it's not for you. But the only way really you can be sure is by keeping stitching on it. Okay, great. I feel better with this stitch. Lovely. It's for my granddaughter's really disappointed, but yours and others' advice and experience makes me feel better. Fantastic. So, and you know what? If you're on Insta or anything, Kelly, I'd love to see pictures of it and see what your progress is. Oh, that's another good idea, Sharon. Check the Heaven and Earth Design Gallery, see if there's a finished piece. An actual stitched one. That also is another way to see about the colour balance. Norma, hello. Sorry to be late logging in. We're decorating the house for the holidays. Do you know what? That is absolutely fine, Norma, and I bet your house looks stunning. We didn't miss too much. It'll be published again afterwards, Norma, so you can always catch up. We've just been talking about Heaven and Earth designs and how sometimes the colours on skin and faces doesn't always make sense until you've stitched more of it and took a step back. So, yep. I'm glad that you know that we kind of put your mind at ease, Kelly. To be fair, it's something I have seen come up on pages and groups and stuff quite a bit. You know. But yeah, the gallery for a finished piece is definitely a great shout. I have the next piece to come out. Oh, why is this thread not coming off? Next piece to come out in my rotation will be Stitching Shelf. I'm quite looking forward to stitching on Stitching Shelf again.
Everybody likes Stitching Shelf.
Yeah. By the way, have any of you been following Komari? She did a roundup of her November stitching, and that lady did almost, she was a fraction off 60,000 stitches in a month. I don't know. I think Pattern Keeper might have sped her up now. She's got used to it. On the Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I think it's Once Upon a Fairy Tale. Excuse me. I was like, wow, 60,000 stitches a month. I really, really need to, you know, up my game. I mean, I can get in, you know, if I have a really good month, I can get in half that. But that is a phenomenal amount. So 60,000 stitches over the 12 months is over 700,000 stitches a year by my maths. Is that right?
I think so.
Checked Heaven and Earth Design. No examples. Also put a review on the website so others will be aware, but they didn't post a review. Well, the reviews are there to help people make a choice. So if it's not been posted, okay. Kamara is very fast. Yes, she is. I've seen her doing streams of like, you know, 2 or 3 hours, and doing, 1,000 odd stitches. And I'm like, I wish I were that fast. But I know she works with very short lengths of thread, and she has lots of pre-threaded needles and so on. So I don't know if somebody's actually doing a threading up for her.
Don't ask me to do that for you.
Oh no. And I was happy with my fit. Yeah, same, Sharon. This year, over the course of the year, I keep a running total of actually how many stitches I've done. And this year so far, I've done over 245,000 in this year. And I thought that was quite good. I mean, last year I did nearly 400,000, but I was working from home a lot more. Those 3 days of going in the office really, really eat into my stitching time. Over them 3 days, because I got, office traveling, and that I might only get 1,000 done over the 3 days. Kamara liked my post on Instagram. I was fangirling. I didn't know she was on Instagram. I might have to go and take a look. We could have each have an assistant handing us our next colour. Shall we do that, Sharon, if we win the lottery? Shall we hire somebody just to thread needles for us? That'd be fun. Easiest job ever. All you've got to do is thread needles all day long.
I'd still mess it up.
Nah, you wouldn't. You get little machines now to thread your needles for you. Make it dead easy. That's a brilliant number. Thank you. I was sitting on a stitching shelf last night, and boy howdy, it was full of confetti. Yeah. I got some 310 stitches, so I managed 308 stitches in 5 hours. Yeah, it is very heavy on the confetti, which is why I'm doing mine in that sort of pseudo typewriter method that I'm using, and trying to use up a whole strand each pass, because at least if I do that, I'm not constantly putting thread back on the thread card and changing colors, using up the whole thread. It's gone, it's done. It's not always possible, of course, but largely speaking, I do sort of tend to use up the whole thread on my needle before I change it out.
Oh.
You okay there, dear?
Yeah.
So you don't fancy being my needle threader then?
Like I said, I would probably mess it up.
When I started Avarice, I did actually have a Paco needle organizer for not all of them. I think it was, every the colours that were in the highest sort of, amount. And I used that for a while, but then I'll be honest, I got fed up with it. So I stopped using it. And I just tend to use the one needle now. Oh my God, Kamara loves to watch her. Yeah, she is, Karen. She's so fast, super fast. Sometimes I'll put it on. If I'm working from home, I take my laptop with me into the kitchen where I work, or in the dining area where I work. And I'll put a video of hers on. I don't even have to put my headphones on. And just every so often, just look over at the stitching from my screen. And I'm just blown away with how much she actually gets done. But now she's started to use Pattern Keeper. She's not doing it sort of block by block, page by page anymore. She's kind of freed it up. You know, it's not as sort of, you know, a regimented sort of squares she's sticking to, which is quite nice to see. But, you know, the video that she put out that showed the November programs, you know, I was blown away. I was thinking, how on earth have you done over 3,000 stitches in a day? Sometimes I can't do 300. And, you know, even the days that I would work on my piece from sort of dawn to dusk, I can't do 3,000 stitches. I think the most I've done in a day is like 2,000. But then the next day I didn't want to stitch at all because I'd, you know, kind of worn myself out with all of the stitching that I'd done. Hi, Sheila. How are you? There's another lady as well that sometimes does lives, and she's very good. Her name is Rin. Oh, cat's having a play. She's a bit unhappy tonight because Hannah's not here. She likes to cuddle up with Hannah at night, although she did cuddle up with me earlier on. Briefly. Have you noticed she doesn't anchor her threads? Yeah, she just leaves the tails at the back, doesn't she? She's literally threads a needle or has a needle with a short length on it, does a few stitches, and then the next thing you know, she's got another needle. Yeah, I have noticed that, Karen, because she trusts in the piece to tie its ends in, doesn't she? And I think I saw a video where she actually took it off the big frame. Come on. Focus. Yeah, she took it off a big frame and she washed it. And I saw all of the hanging threads in the back and I was like, oh my God. Okay, let me just reset the camera.
Oh.
Come on. That's better. Yeah. And I could just see all the hanging threads at the bottom and I was like, oh my God. It was just like this chaos of hanging threads. But, you know, hey, if it's the way of stitching, if it works for her, there's no rules, is there? I noticed as well that Stitching Dreamer was back this week. She put out a video. It's nice to see Ching back. And one or two people are doing Flossmas. Oh, there we are. Andy's off up to Humberside this week and he's going to go cycling down Spurn Point, snow permitting.
I don't care if it's snowy or what, I'm still going.
Have you checked what it's like up on Humberside there?
Don't need to, really, because...
Well, you kind of want it to be passable, don't you?
It'll be passable. It's always passable.
Oh, Alison Royal Stitcher does 2,000 to 3,000 stitches a day too. Whew. I can't do that many. Because it, you know, like I said, the few times that I've had where I've got to 2,000, the following day I've just not wanted to stitch. Stitcher burnout. It is a thing. Well, it is for me. I'm quite happy with I usually bob somewhere between 500 and 1,000 on weekdays, depending on if I'm working from home. And at weekends, between 1,000 and 1,500, depending on what else I'm doing. I mean, obviously, this last couple of weekends with overtime, that's not happened. And today I've done, between this and the rest of Envy, I've done just over 600 stitches. I'm not going to get to 1,000 today. But, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I think I did 1,800 on a Saturday. And I didn't have anything else to do. No overtime. Didn't have to go out. I wasn't getting my nails done. Didn't do any shopping. It was literally a day at home. Oh, no, was it on my annual leave that I did that? I can't remember. Anyway, next week, it's nails week. So next Saturday, I should be getting these done. So next Sunday's live, we will have some new nails.
You would have got a few more stitches done yesterday if it weren't for me.
Why? What did you do?
Last night. Where did we go last night?
Oh, yes, of course. Do you know, it's awful when you have to be reminded when your husband surprises you and takes you out to dinner. I'm very sorry, dear. I'm awful. I am. So last night, Andy says to me, and well, Andy, Hannah and Lauren all came downstairs because all day long I'd been kind of on the warpath. And I've been on the warpath because every time I was trying to do something, whether it be work or stitching, and I needed peace and quiet, it was not peaceful and it was not quiet. And me and Andy were going to go and do a little supermarket shop and go on his own, but we ended up taking the girls with you. So it was not peaceful and it was not quiet. And I'm kind of, you know, saying on and off, went I, yesterday, that if only I could get some peace and quiet. So they all came down yesterday and Hannah said, you know how you wanted some peace and quiet? I'm like, yeah. And he says, get yourself ready, we're going out for dinner. So we went out. Oh, sorry, it keeps going blurry. I don't know why. We went out, local pub, had a lovely meal, and then just called into the supermarket over the road from it to get the cat food that I'd forgotten to get earlier in the day, or the cat would have starved. And as we came back, it at that point, it was just starting to snow. But it was really lovely to get a couple of hours out. And I was quite happy to sacrifice the stitches I would have done in those 2 hours, because it meant some lovely time with my husband. Time out where we weren't staying somewhere because Andy was filming and we needed to go and get a meal. You know, we didn't have any kids with us. It was an unplanned spontaneous thing, and it was lovely. We don't do it enough. When's the next one, dear?
I don't know.
I would imagine that'd be the last time we go out for a meal or anything this side of Christmas.
Probably.
Because it'll get busy, won't it?
No, it won't. There's one more.
Oh, yeah, we're going to meet your mum and dad, aren't we? Exactly, Nicola. If it works for her, go for it. Yeah, absolutely, Karen. No rules. that rule book, it doesn't exist. Nobody ever wrote the stitchy rule book, and if they did, they can keep it to themselves, because I don't want a bar of a stitchy rule book. Stitch what you want, stitch when you want, stitch how you want. Doesn't matter if the back looks a mess. Doesn't matter if you use the wrong colour here and there. Doesn't matter if all your stitches are not laying the same way. Do what's best for you. If working that piece makes you happy in whatever way you do it, carry on. So spur of the moment dates are the best. Yep, absolutely they are. Oh, Catherine is joining us again. I would imagine that you're watching on your iPad again, Catherine. Yeah. Second memorial piece this year to finish, Heaven and Earth Designs Quick Stitch Protector of Magic by Lisa Parker. Absolutely phenomenal. That is beautiful. February to December, over 254 days, and we have, by the look of it, a finish. Oh, and that is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Well done, Catherine. My high stitches was 2,000, but that only happened once. Then one day this week, the frog would not go away. And I stitched a grand total of 22. Brilliant. I don't know if you remember seeing on my floss tube, I did a picture a couple of years back now for my brother, and it was a motorbike that I did for him. And it had a stitched white background. Well, you guys will know that there are several shades of white in the DMC range. So there's Blanc, B5200, and 38. I want to say 3865, which is like a winter white. And I was using Blanc for the background. And somehow I managed to pick up B5200, and I'd worked 300 stitches of it before I realised. Don't ask me how. I'd worked 300 stitches before it had twigged that I was stitching the completely wrong colour. But I did. And I had to frog those stitches on 25 count 1/1. I wasn't a happy bunny. I put it away for a few days. I wasn't going to, I think it was about 300 stitches anyway. I put it away for a few days. I wasn't going to stitch on it after that until it had, until I'd made friends with it again. Oh, what's cross? But I'm lucky because I don't tend to have the frog turn up very often. I think with Pattern Keeper and stuff, I've kind of got better. And using gridded fabric, I've got better. I still have occasions where I've missed a stitch, or I've, you know, already stitched it and not marked it off or whatever. But yeah. You must have been absolutely gutted, Norma. 22 stitches all day. The piece I'm doing now has flowers on it and a black background. And the background, I have switched my crosses around to make the flowers pop more. That's lovely, Missy. If for me, that would drive me daft, because I'd want to slip back into my old habit. But yeah, definitely it will make the flowers pop, that. So I'm having a no new start next year. Has anybody else made any concrete stitchy plans? No new starts, or I start a month, or get some finishes, or work on a set number of pieces, or I need to get my work in progresses down to single figures. Having 10 in regular rotation doesn't sit well with me, and that doesn't include my stamp piece. I haven't slotted that into my schedule at all this year. Mary Princess is almost at 70%. Another session or two on that, and that will be over the 70% line this year, which I'm very happy about. And everything else is just still plodding on. The fastest grower is Autumn Waltz. Grows by about 5% every time I stitch on it. Maybe I should make that my first focus piece of the year and get it off my stitchy pile. Then it goes on to my sewing pile because I want to make it into a cushion cover. These 3 days in the office, though, like I said, it does take a big bite out of my time. And to be fair as well, with the travelling that I'm doing, I get quite tired in an evening. So I won't stop up any later to catch up on my stitching either. I just, do my normal routine when I get home. And keep on, make sure I get enough sleep. But yeah, I need more hours in a day. Either that, or maybe I can pass a couple of pieces to Kumari. She'll finish them quickly for me, won't she? No fixed plans yet, but there's many kits waiting. Yeah. And a handful of heids are kitted up. So if you feel like it, I can start them. That sounds like a plan, Anna Karen. I'm looking forward to have a week off in February. And if I can swing it, because I haven't had it the last couple of times I've had a week off, I'm having a week of stitching. It comes to something, doesn't it? I mean, I go out to work and I'm working out how long is it I've got to work for before I can get home and get stitching. And obviously taking Mary Princess into the office with me, I'm like, how many stitches can I do in my hour lunch? By the time I've eaten my lunch and got a drink and been to the loo and etc., I've got about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to stitch. And it's a case of get as many stitches in as I can. But of course I don't have a stand with me, so I'm just stitching with the hoop. So I try and sort of sit where I can balance the hoop on the edge of a table and still try and stitch two-handed if I can. Yeah, Jodie, I'm glad I'm not on my own. You know, I find myself looking at the clock and how many more stitches can I squeeze in? Missing no plans for 2024, stitch what I want, yeah. Mrs. Miggins, up at the top of the chat box, there's a screen that says there's a drop down. It says top chat, and then live chat, all messages are visible. So if you switch it to live chat, you know what I'm thinking now, because mine was on top chat, I might have missed something. Do let me know if I have missed anything. So if you switch it to live chat, you should see all comments. But sometimes I am just rambling, because that's what I do. Have you looked at the LBC seat hoops? You'll be able to stitch two-handed with it. Yeah. The only problem is that it's carrying it. I don't think my locker at work would be big enough to store it in. And I have to take a computer and a keyboard and other bits and pieces with me. And yeah, that's heavy enough. I mean, it's going to be, as we're getting into the snow and things, I'm going to have to start and take a pair of shoes with me and actually go in my Wellingtons. I'm not looking forward to that, because it just means carrying extra, which is a bit of a shame, but we manage. Luckily, as I said, it's only, you know, two to three times a week, depending on weather, how busy the office is. I've got some of my full coverage pieces kitted up. I think I only want to start 2 of them. I want to focus on 5 to 10 of my 17 whips. That's a good plan, Clara. Are you like me, wanting to try and whittle down your whips if you can? Get you know, try and get something over the finish line. No, that's because they're bloody all here. Have you been able to see more comments now, Mrs. Miggins? It is, you know, one of them things with the chat. Sometimes it just kind of resets itself. Yeah. Have I got enough thread? Yes, I have. Nobody was commenting at the time, just Nicola was talking, we were stitching and listening. As I said, sometimes I just do ramble, I go off at a tangent, so, you know, there might actually not be a comment, I might just be rambling away, as I do. I'm starting 2 new starts throughout December. I need to tend to stick with 4 full coverages throughout 2024. So are you going to do them in a rotation, Mrs. Miggins? Like a few days at a time or a week at a time, or just pick them up when you feel like it? Just because you favour them, Clara. They're the ones that sort of are. So come on, share with us which ones are your favourite pieces out of your whips. We might all go and have a mooch. I enabled somebody myself the other day. So, you know, you might do a bit more enabling. So Christmas Day falls on a Monday this year, and I'm sure you guys might have seen by now, I did put a post in the community tab about lives for the new year, for Christmas Eve, Saturday the 30th, both at 8 p.m, and then the first live of 2023, starting at a new time of 7:30. And I still intend to put out the full programme of stitchy goodness, so there will still be floss tubes and stitch with me's and so on over that Christmas period, because I mean, if Christmas Day fell on, you know, fell on a different day, it might be a bit more tricky, but there's nothing to stop me from my regular programme. Oh, I can hear Lauren coughing away upstairs. Okay. It's all various shades of pinks in this one, pinks and reds. Andy, can you furnish the cat with the supper, please? Her usual slave is not here. The cat is sat in front of me, expectantly waiting for Andy to produce her supper. It's very true, isn't it? Dogs have masters, cats have slaves. Thanks, love. He's very quiet tonight, isn't he? Okay.
Bye, people.
Andy's disappearing, but I am not. Not yet, anyway. I had a cat in my teenage years and now have a dog. Yep. And it is super quiet. Does he feel bad or just I think he's just tired. He's had a busy weekend. Ramble away, Nicola. Love your accent. Cheers, Mrs. Miggins. Is that Yorkshire in me? Mind you, I have noticed that I do seem to have developed a bit of a lisp. And one thing I am going to try and get done in the next few weeks is get a hearing check. I've always had a bit of tinnitus, bit of ringing in my ears. But my hearing just lately, I seem to have got worse. When I was out, I mean, I know obviously if I'm out in public, it can be a bit noisy and there's traffic and people and, you know, so on. But I'm literally constantly having to ask people to repeat things, and I think I might just go and see if I can't get a hearing test. My mum was deaf in one ear, and how she ended up to be deaf in one ear, I don't know. And of course, she's not around for me to ask. But I think, you know, if it is something that's hereditary, I need to get it looked at. So it's my left ear that seems to be particularly bad. So I shall be having a look at booking in a hearing test. I can't bother go to the doctor because, I mean, we've got people on High Street now that will do hearing tests here in the UK. I'll just pay privately for one. And if it is determined that I've lost some hearing, then, you know, we'll take it from there. But it just seems, I just feel awful all the time I'm having to say, what? Pardon? Say it again. What? I do feel awful. I mean, and the weird thing is that if I'm listening to YouTube through my headphones, I'm absolutely fine. But talking to somebody, nah. Jodie, your ears ring as well. Yeah, it's my left ear mainly, and the ring is always there, but the volume of it changes. Sometimes when it rings really, really loudly, and then other times when it rings, like right now, it's quite faint and sounds daft, but I have to listen for it. I had a friend that got a blood clot in his ear. He's deaf in that ear. Oh, that doesn't sound pleasant to Missy. I mean, this for me has been going on for a lot of years. But as I said, just recently I've noticed a a bit of a downturn in my hearing ability. So I figure get it checked out before it gets worse. I mean, I'd like to say it was, you know, because I went to, you know, concerts and that kind of thing, but I don't think I went to enough and went that close to speakers that I would damage my hearing, you know, and I didn't go to my first concert until I was like 17, and I've had this since I was a little girl. So it's where I feel like I think my brain is always a jumble, so I wouldn't be able to organise. Yeah. Stitching what you feel like is a good way to go. I quite like the, you know, get to you know, 1,000 stitches on a piece and then switch it out for another one. That sort of seems to work for me, but everybody's different, aren't they, in the way that they stitch? Some people, you know, like to stitch until they're exhausted on a piece and, you know, they don't want to stitch in it again and put it away. Some people do a set amount of stitches every day on every piece that they have. For me, I'm, you know, just enjoying little snippets on each one at the moment. Works for me. You could just have fluid in your ear and therefore can't hear good. Yeah, that's the point, Jodie. It's very possible. And you said the smallest thing that you should put in your ear is your elbow. So it's best to get it checked, isn't it, by a professional. It doesn't change whether or not I'm sat up or laid down or anything like that either. Which I know that, you know, if I did have water there, it'd probably move around, wouldn't it? I would think. I can hear the cat having a moment upstairs. She's on a scratchy box and she's whizzing around now. She's got some food in her belly. Right. Ow. No, I had fluid in both my ears and didn't know, and they didn't hurt. Oh, right. Oh. Yep. Definitely going to be making that appointment, I think. Hey, you ladies might be shy, but you always have a lovely chat in my comments. So, you know, keep doing that. You always make friends on here. Lovely. You know, until I was doing floss tubes, you know, I suppose it's easy, you know, when you're sort of here and you're just like literally talking into a camera. Until I was doing floss tubes, I didn't sort of really like to talk much about my stitching. I suppose that's probably because there was nobody in real life. Ooh, excuse me, nobody in real life to chat to it about. But now I have all of you lovely people. Anyhow, we have got to the 90 minutes. I have done 180 stitches, so not quite as much this evening, but you know, this piece has had a few colour changes, and as I said, touch under the weather, so not surprising that I've not done sort of quite as many as normal. But it's a lovely piece, heading round the bottom on it now anyway. So I will see you guys, all being well, in the week, and we'll have a floss tube and we'll have some Stitch with Me's. And next Sunday, as usual, we will have our live and I'll get together, all with a cuppa and a chat, and all will be well in the world, won't it? So I hope you got plenty of stitches in. But yeah, other than that, just take care, everyone. Have a great week. And I will see you on my next video. Bye, everyone.